Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to learn about data types in the C programming language. So the data types are declarations for the variables and it determines the type and size of the data associated with the variable. Okay, so data types are the declaration of the variables. If you want to declare a variable in the C program, then you have to declare it using the data type only. Suppose if you are declaring a variable called a decimal variable, then you have to declare it using the int, right? So using the int data type, you can declare the variable which is of decimal type with the x. So int x equals to 10. That means here x is the decimal value and int is we are going to represent this decimal value with the help of the integer data type. Okay, so here we are declaring the variable x with the variable x for the decimal value as integer, right? Similarly, if you want to declare the variable which is having real values, okay, then we can use the data type called float, right? You can use the data type called float. So float x equals to 10.5. So here x is the variable. Okay, so x is the variable with the, so we are going to declare the variable x to the data type float, so which is having the real value. See, since the variable is having the real value, we are assigning it to the data type float. So like that we can assign for the char, string and long, double, like that we can assign the variables. It determines the type and size of data associated with the variable. So it determines the type. So here if you take the integer example, so it is determining the type, that is the given variable is of integer type. And here also, here it is declaring that the given variable is of floating type or real values. Okay, and it determines the size of the data associated with the variable. Normally the integer is having 2 bytes of data. Okay, so it allocates the 2 bytes of data. So 2 float allows 4 bytes of memory space for the given variable. Okay, so in the memory space with the 2 bytes here, the value 10 is allocated. Similarly for the float type, so for the variable x, so 10.5, so which is stored in the 4 byte, it's going to allocate the 4 bytes for the particular variable x here. So like that, each and every data type is having its own properties. Okay, so now let us see the different types of data types. So here the data types specify how we enter the data to our programs and what type of data we enter. And C language has some predefined set of data types to handle the various kinds of data. Okay, so there are 3 types of data types, that is a primary data type, derived data type and user defined data types. Okay, so first of all, so in this video we are going to learn basically on the primary data types. Okay, so what are the different types of the primary data types that we are going to focus here, and we are going to know briefly about the derived and user defined data types in the upcoming videos. Okay, so now let us focus on the primary data types. So different types of primary data types are int, char, float and void. Similarly, for the derived data types, array, function and pointer. And for the user defined data types, enum, structure, typedef and union. So these are the user defined data types. So first of all, let us see the primary data types. So these are the primary data types. So primary data types is also called as primitive data types or built-in data type or primitive data types. Okay, so it is divided into 3 parts, right? Integer, floating point and character. So int is again divided into 2 types, that is a signed and unsigned. Okay, signed and unsigned int. And floating point is divided into 3 parts, that is a float, double and long double. Similarly, character is of 3 types, that is char, unsigned, signed char and unsigned char. So what is meant by signed and unsigned value here? So here the signed integer means a integer is having the sign value. So sign may be either positive or negative. Okay, but the unsigned value means there is no sign for the particular integer. So it will be only positive, right? So I am taking a value, integer value here 5 and minus 5. So we can determine the plus 5 as the normal 5, right? And if the given value 5 is of is I mean if it is having the negative sign, okay, then we can represent the value as is this minus 5. Okay, so this is a plus 5 or 5 is same, right? Okay, so we can determine the a particular integer with a positive or negative sign using the signed value. Okay, so the name denotes that, so we are assigning a sign to the integer. So whereas the unsigned integer means, so it is assigning only positive value for the given integer. Okay, so it is not going to, normally it is not going to assign any sign. So the value will be like this 5. Okay, and for the signed one, so it will be plus 5 or minus 5. Okay, plus 5 and minus 5. So like this we are going to denote the integers. Okay, so next floating point. So floating point is of 3 types. So float, double and long double. Okay, so normally the integer data type is having the 2 bytes of it allocates 2 bytes of space, memory space, and the floating point allocates 4 bytes of memory space. Okay, and the char data type represents 1 byte of memory space for a particular character. Okay, and here the double and long double. So double is going to allocate 8 bytes of memory space, and similarly long double or signed long double is going to assign 16 bytes of memory space. Okay, so we are going to see this in the table here. Okay, so the data type, range and bytes format. Okay, so normally we are going to represent the signed and unsigned part with a small formula. For the range of the signed value is 0 to, so here for the unsigned, so for the unsigned the range is 0 to 2 power n minus 1. Okay, similarly the range of signed one is, so minus 2 power n minus 1 to 2 power n minus 1 minus 1. So this is the range of signed and unsigned here. Okay, so now we are going to apply these formulas for the given table. So how do we obtain the signed char and unsigned char integer that we are going to know here? So normally we know that the sign is assigned here, that is it may be positive or negative. Okay, so here the range is minus 1. So normally the character is having the 1 byte of memory space. It is going to allocate the 1 byte of memory space, and similarly here the format specifier is %c. Okay, so if we are going to enter the character in through the keyboard, then through the format specifier we are going to save it, right? So now the character is having only 1 byte of data. So 1 byte means 8 bits of data. Okay, so here if you want to get the signed character, so we want to know about the signed character, right? So that's why we are going to apply this 8 bits to the signed one. Okay, that means here the answer will become, so minus 2 power, so we are having the 1 byte, that means 8 bits. So 8 minus 1, that is 7. 2 power 7 to, so 2 power n minus 1. Okay, so we need to know about the 2 power n minus 1, right? So 2 power, so what is the n value? 8 minus 1 is 7. minus 1. So 2 power 7 is 128. So minus 128 to, so minus 128 to 2 power 7 minus 1. So 128 minus 1, that is 127. So this is how we will get the signed character value. Okay, so this is here. So minus 128 to plus 127. Okay, so similarly for the unsigned character, if you want to know the range of values, that is 0 to 255, so we have to substitute the byte. So what are the number of bytes allocated for the unsigned character data type? That is 1 byte, right? So 1 byte equals to 8 bits. Okay, so we have to substitute that one in the given unsigned formula, unsigned range. So 0 to 2 power n minus 1. So what is the n value here? 8, right? So 2 power 8 minus 1. So 2 power 8 means 256 minus 1, that is the 255. So the unsigned character is of the range 0 to 255. Okay, so similarly the short signed int. So if you have seen my video about the modifiers or qualifiers in the C language, so you can know about the short and long. Okay, short int and long int. So in the short signed int, the short means it is going to reduce or it may be equal to the integer value. Okay, so here it is the range of minus 327682 plus 32767. Okay, and the number of bytes allocated here is 2 bytes. So 2 bytes equals to so 1 byte equals to 8 bits. So 2 bytes equals to 16 bits. Okay, so that means here it is given as the short signed int. Signed int means, so we know the formula here, right? Signed int. Okay, so we are going to note down the we are going to substitute the number of bits in the formula. Okay, so here minus 2 power n minus 1. So n is 16, right? So we are having 16 bits of space. So 16 minus 1, that is 15. So minus 2 power 15 to, so 2 power n minus 1. So 2 power 16 minus 1, that is 15 minus 1. So that is the value here given. If you substitute the values, okay, if you find out these values, we can get the answer as minus 327682 plus 32767. So like this we can obtain the values. And here if you observe, in the case of the floating point double and long double, so here the given range is in the format of the floating point values, that is minus 3.4 exponent 38, that is 3.4 is the mantissa part here and 38 is the exponent part. Similarly, so here the plus 3.4 to plus 3.4 exponent 38, that means so 3.4 is the mantissa part and exponent part is the 38. Okay, so this is how we can write the given range. Okay, so here also same thing. So we are going to apply the formula here. Okay, so for signed and unsigned int, we are going to get the range by substituting the bytes in the given formula here. Okay, and if you want to know about the signed sign qualifier, size qualifiers and constant qualifiers, you can watch my video on modifiers on data types. Okay, and here the format specifier for the short signed int is %d and unsigned int is %u and signed int is %d and unsigned int is automatically %u. So wherever, if you observe, wherever there is unsigned format, so we are going to get it %u. Particular value is having either positive or negative sign, then we are going to use the %d as the format specifier. So since there is a long data type, so we are going to use the L as the format specifier here. So %ld and %lu. Okay, so like this we are going to apply the given format specifier. So except for the unsigned char, so for the unsigned char we are not taking the %u as a format specifier. So except for the character, so for the integer and for the integers we are going to apply it as a %u for unsigned data types. So next one is the derived data types. So here we have seen about the primary data types. So let us see about the derived data types. So derived data types are of three types, that is arrays, pointers and functions. Okay, so first of all, coming to the arrays. So an array is defined as a collection of variables belonging to same data type and stored in a single name. Okay, so we can define the array as int space a of 10. That means array of 10 values. Okay, so why do you use the arrays means, suppose if you want to store a variable, then you will use a particular variable here, right? Int I equals to 5. That means, so we are using a variable called I for storing a single value. What suppose if I want to store 100 ages, 100 persons values, right? So if you want to store ages of 100 persons, then how can I store? So if you are using the variables concept only, then I have to create 100 variables for the 100 persons, right? I have to create the 100 variables for storing the ages of 100 persons. So it is very difficult to do. So that's why we are using the arrays. So using a array subscript or array index, so we are going to store the multiple number of values in a single array. Okay, and if you want to access the data items in the single array, so you can use the index or subscripts. Okay, so here if you want to store the ages of 100 persons, so there is no need of creating 100 variables here. So instead of creating 100 variables, we are going to use only single name. Okay, so we are going to store the ages of 100 persons into a single name with indexes. Okay, so here the array is going to store the similar data items with the single name. Okay, so here array means it is a set of data items of homogeneous data type that are stored with a single variable name. So here I want to store the ages of the 100 persons, that is so 100 persons I want to store. Okay, so I am going to declare with this statement int is a of 100. That means, so we can, this is an array of 100, so we can store the values of 100 persons age in the array A. Okay, so then the data will be stored in this format. Okay, so here the data will be stored in this format. So the age of each and every person is stored in a separate index. Okay, so here 0 to 99. Okay, so in the each block we are going to store the age of a person. So here array is defined as a collection of variables belonging to same data type. So if you observe, in the array we are going to store only the values of same data type. So here 0 to 99 we are going to store the int data type only. Okay, so the values that we are going to enter is of decimal values. Okay, so that's why array is a homogeneous data type. It is a collection of homogeneous data types. Okay, so next one is the pointers. Okay, so pointer is a variable that holds address of another variable of same data type. Okay, a pointer means it is going to hold the address of another variable of the same data type. So suppose here I am going to store a variable. So let the variable be x. So x is having the, so we are storing in the variable x we are storing the value 100 here. Okay, so this is the variable, and we are going the address that we are going to, in the address 2500 we are going to store the value 100. Okay, so if you are taking the int x equals to 100 means, so it will store the particular value 100 with the variable name x, and in the address location it is going to store, so 2500 it is going to store the particular integer. So int is of 2 bytes of data, right? So here it is going to allocate 2 bytes of data for this particular value. And here what happens, so after storing the data, so we are going to again store the address of this particular value in the memory location. Okay, so we are going to store the address of the value 100, so 2500 we are going to store. Okay, so in the address location 2555, so this is the address location. Okay, and this is the x pointer, so we call this one as the x pointer. Okay, so that means here a variable that holds the address of, so a variable is stored, it is holding the address of another variable, that is the value x, so which is of same data type. That means here these two are of the same data type. Okay, and here the variable name is x and this variable name is x pointer. Okay, so and we are going to denote the pointers with the help of the asterisk mark. Okay, so int x pointer, so we are going to denote this location with this one. Okay, x pointer, so int x equals to 100 means, so value is stored in the variable x with the address location here, and for the pointer we are going to store the address of the another variable. Okay, so int star x pointer, okay, asterisk x pointer. So next one is the functions. Suppose if you are working on a project, okay, we are going to divide the project into multiple parts, okay, multiple modules, and assign the modules to the project members. So we can assign the multiple modules to the different project members. Okay, so that the work will be finished easily here. So we are sharing the project into multiple modules and we are assigning the modules to the project members. Okay, so in order to finish the project easily and quickly. Okay, so here functions of C language provide the modularity to the larger programs. So a bigger project can be divided into many smaller functions and the functions can be distributed among project members to implement, and finally we can combine that into a larger, bigger project. So functions reduce the complexity of program development. So here we are going to know about the functions, right? So it is going to reduce the complexity here and we can easily finish the project. Okay, the larger project can be finished easily here by dividing the given program into multiple number of modules. Okay, and C language provides the modularity. So the main function of C language is modularity. So we can divide the given project into multiple modules and assign it to the different project members to finish it easily. So a function is defined as a segment that contains a group of statements to perform a specific task, or a function is defined as a self-contained block of statements which performs a specific task. Okay, so here, so the function that we are using normally in any program is the main function, right? So a program starts with the main function and it is having a set of statements, right? Okay, so this is a normal function that we are using in any program, and similarly printf function and scanf function, so these are also the basic functions that we are using. Okay, scanf function, printf function, these are also some functions. Okay, so these are all built-in functions that we are using: printf, scanf, main function, string copy, getS, putS, and string cat, okay, square root, power. So these are the built-in functions, and there are some user-defined functions also in the functions. Okay, a C program does not execute the functions directly except the main function, and it is required to invoke or call the functions in the main functions. Okay, so we can see about this derived data types briefly in the next videos. So next one is the user-defined data types. So in the user-defined data types, we are having the three types, that is structures, union, and enum. Okay, a structure is a group it is a group of heterogeneous data types, or it is a group of different data types which are combined together and stored into a single name, right? So in the case of arrays, it is a homogeneous data types, but here it is a heterogeneous data types. Okay, so if you want to store the data related to a book, okay, so if you want to store the data related to a book, then you can define it with a struct space book. So structure book. So in the book we are having a author name, okay, author name, and number of pages of book, and title name. Okay, so we have to define the data types here. Author is of character, and like this we have to define the data types. So here in the structure of book, so we are having the author name. So author is a string, and pages is the integer type, and title, so title is of a string type. So here we are going to store the different data types and group it into a single name called book, and we are storing all these variables under the single name. So this is about the structures. So whereas in the case of arrays, we are going to store the ages of 100 persons which is having the same data type. So next, coming to the union. So union is similar to structure, but the only difference here is in the case of the storage. So everything will be in the format of structures only. So the how we assign the variables and how do we execute it, so everything will be in the format of structures, but only difference is in terms of storage. And the last one is the enum data type. An enumeration is a list of constant integer variables. Identifiers declared as enumerators or constant of type integer. Okay, so let us suppose we are taking the enum colors. So we are going to take the enum of colors with the values red, blue, and green. Then it is going to assign a number for each and every color here. Okay, the first name red in the enum has a value 0, and the next one is having the 1, and so on, unless explicit values are specified. If we use the input here for the print,